People often wonder,
why the fuck can't we have custom MVM upgrades in Team Fortress 2? This game mode is nearly a decade old. Come on, I can have servers where I play as a pony, but I can't get servers where I can add explosive crits to my market gardener?
basically, Funk Upgrade Station loads a script file called mvmupgrades.txt, which is just chucked full of attributes for upgrades. Attributes are basically just the stats on weapons, sorted into upgrades for weapons and player upgrades. And you know, it has all the stuff you'd expect, like icon, the cost, all that garbage. What's great is that Valve actually allows us to load our own custom version of the script very easily. It's just one input into the TF Game Rules entity. However, just by looking at this file, you might notice one kinda glaring omission. Where the fuck does it specify what items the upgrade can be used on? How does it know what items can be upgraded with Thermal Thruster Air Launch? The answer is... C-Man vs. Machine Upgrade Manager load upgrades file from path runs parse upgrade block for UI group, which just goes through all the attributes in the file, checks if they're valid, blah blah nerd shit, and then adds it onto M upgrades, which is just an array that stores upgrades. When we go to the upgrade station, the client calls CHUD upgrade panel set active, which then calls update model panels, which then calls update upgrade buttons, which then goes through every item in M upgrades and makes sure TF Game Rules can upgrade with attrib is true before adding it to the HUD. This function returns whether or not this upgrade is valid for the player, slot, and weapon. However, this function is fucking stupid, and is literally just hard-coded checks based on the attribute and weapon type and sometimes the class. If Valve had just fucking made these checks generic, like they should have been in the first place, and put them into mvmupgrades.txt, this wouldn't be a problem. But instead, this is the stupidest fucking thing in the entire world. If I want to be able to add falling impact radius stun to the man-treads,
because Valve made this MVM upgrade for the thermal thruster and forgot to add it to the man-treads,
and the system was designed well and made these checks part of the mvmupgrades.txt script, I could just add the man-treads weapon ID to this line here and it would look like this. But in its current form, I can't. This is because this check literally only passes if the weapon is TF Weapon Rocket Pack, otherwise it doesn't give a shit and returns false. Also, good luck trying to modify this on the server side because it's shared class, so it's replicated on the client too, so the only way to get around this check would be to modify the client, which would get you Backman. So the only way to make custom MVM upgrades on a server is to literally just re-implement the entire upgrade system using source mod menus, and Jesus Christ, no.